Hi everyone, Keith Arkenberg Farms, and it's hard to believe that it's already that time again, and that is the time to start getting our transplants planted, get them germinated, get them ready, get them healthy, get them to go out in the field. Now, the key to having any successful transplants on your farm is to start with a very healthy plant to begin with. And today, that's what we're going to cover, and I'll show you my techniques, what I do, and what they look like, and how I'm actually keeping them alive right now when it's still freezing outside and my prop house is empty. So, let me show you. Now we have a decent amount of equipment around here that we use for actually starting our transplants. First piece right here, which is just simply a bench. Made this out of pallets. I have it right about at my waistline. Ideally you want it to be right below your elbows, that way you're working at a nice comfortable height. Over next to it, we actually have a bin here with our potting mix. I like to keep it in there. Got a nice little short-handled hoe that actually will fit back in it when I'm done with it, but it allows me to stir it up and keep it somewhat moist but not wet. This stuff is actually hydrophobic when you first get it, which means it will not take water. So you have to get it pre-moistened before you use it, or you'll never be able to actually water in your starts correctly. The next important part is having a good high-quality starting mix, and what we use is actually right here. This is Morgan Composting. It is the Seed Starter 101. This stuff is the good stuff. I've been using this now for going on 3 seasons, and before I used Pro Mix and this kind of stuff like that. This is no good for anything but potting up, and you have to add fertilizer to it. This stuff, you put it in the cell, put the seed in it, and it'll have enough nutrition, enough fuel basically, to keep your plant going until it's actually ready to go in the ground. So now we're going to go over and actually start seeding a flat, and I'll just kind of walk you through the steps and kind of explain as I'm going. So there are many different sizes of propagation plug flats out on the market. All of them are 10 inches across and about 20 inches long. We use a lot of 200s, which there's a whole bunch of cells in them. This is primarily for our lettuce starts. We've got our 100s, which are also for our lettuce starts during the summer, but almost every other thing we plant is in a 100. We also have some 50s. We don't use these very much. I can't even really think the last time. I think we use these for flowers mainly, but they're really big. They don't hold that much. If we're wanting something to be in this size, we just start in the 100 and then we'll pot it up into a bigger pot afterwards. Now the first part of all this is, like I said earlier, get a good starting mix to start with. Make sure to mix it well with your hoe. And then you're gonna come in, get you some kind of nifty container to start filling up your flat. I find these bigger ones, I usually use about 2 of them. And then we're just going to gently push it in, mainly working our way on the sides more than anything, because that seems to be where I find you get the least amount to actually fill into them. And then we do a couple drops. Just like that. And we'll take the rest of the soil, just kind of sweep it across with the hands, just to kind of top everything off. Then we give it a quick wipe. So it should look nice and filled, nice and even all the way across. Now we're going to load it into one of our bottom trays. These actually came from, I believe, Bootstrap Farmer. I think their logo's on here somewhere. But either way, they're good, sturdy. These are the hard ones. I find the other ones fall apart too easy and the corners break out, so they leak. We use these when we are germinating them and when they are still not out here. Once they move out here, we take the trays off them. But we just very simply get it up into it, and then we will clear this off and start putting our seeds in the flat. Now, in order to actually seed our flats, you have to poke a hole somehow. Use something as simple as a pin and poke a hole. But we need 100 of them in this, well, actually 98, and there's a lot easier way to do this. We actually built this for our vacuum seeder. We primarily do our seeding for lettuce using the vacuum seeder, but this is a dibbler board. This has got all of the dibbles to make all of your holes. They're actually little gray wire nuts hammered in here. Check out my vacuum seeder video. I actually show you how to make one of these. We just line up the front, make sure we're on the 100 cell side, not the 200 cell side. We just give it a quick push, and I kind of wiggle it around a little bit to enlarge the holes just a little bit, makes it a little easier. And then just like that, we've got all of our holes ready to start seeding. Now I've got you a little bit down closer here so you can actually see what I'm doing. We're going to seed a couple different things right now. We got some Brussels sprouts, some storage cabbage, and looks like some cauliflower. These all come from different sources because I source my seeds all over the place, and where basically I can find what I want and when I want it, more importantly. So we're going to seed a couple things in here, so we have to be very careful about the actual process and making sure to label everything, or we will get things mixed up. It is inevitable to happen, and it happens to me every season. So we're going to start off with some Brussels sprouts. Now, Brussels sprouts are fairly small seeds. Not super small, there are smaller out there. So your trick here, just kind of reach in and you grab 2 or 3 of them. You're just going to go along and kind of roll your fingers until one drops. We are wanting to plant, we'll do 50. That should give us about 40 bed foot of Brussels sprouts. Now, the more and more you do this, the quicker and quicker you'll get. Don't be worried if you drop more than one seed down a hole, but the majority of the time we get 98 to almost 100% germination rate, which I'll show you here in a second. Now we're almost done here. Just a few more. And then we will put them back in the seed packet, go through, and we'll actually mark off from how many seeds it was, which was 250. We took out 50, so now we have 200 seeds left in here. Always want to mark that on the packet. That way we know when I look at this how many seeds are in here and when I have to order more. And mark a tag so we know what is in here and where it's in here. For the tags, we typically write the shorthand of what it is. So it's Brussels sprouts, B-R-U-S-S. And then the date that we're planting, 2/28. And then how many we have in there of how many are actually in the flat. So we did 50 of 100. So that's what my tag will look like when I'm done. Then when I go out in the field, I'll actually write the date it's transplanted in the field and the field block and bed location it's in. After that, I'll go in and record these. So these tags are very important to keep a hold of during the process. Now, the one thing I have found is if I'm putting them in the side, I have to clip off the point, so it's shorter. So I know exactly where the seeding stopped at. Now we'll go over to our cauliflower, which we only have 25 seeds. And that is specifically why we're planting 3 in here instead of just 2. It's because apparently I bought a little tiny package of cauliflower. They must have been rather pricey for me to only purchase that few. Again, don't be super careful about it, and you can move pretty quick once you get good at this. I'm going to go ahead and finish seeding this out. We'll get another tag on here, and then we'll take you over to water it in, and then I will show you where we're germinating these and what it looks like inside the room. Now before we go water it in, we just wipe across to fill up the top of all the holes. Make sure we got pretty much everything covered on the flat, and we'll go water it in. Hey, and don't forget, head over to arkenbergfarms.com, scroll down to the bottom, digital tools and training. Got the free ultimate supply catalog down there. Everything we use on our farm, updated all the time. Also got a bunch of spreadsheets. Market Garden Farm School, it's coming along great. There's a lot of cool stuff there. Also got our side openers and our door actuators. Great for a greenhouse in the summer, so that way you don't have to remember to open it, or at night, remember to close it. because trust me, I've done it both. So arkenbergfarms.com, scroll down the bottom, Mark Garden Farm School, Digital Tools and Training, go check it out. Watering in, very simple. We just have a little short handle sprayer, very good one. Dram makes the really high quality ones with real fine tip. I'll make sure to burp all of the air out of the line first. The hole in my greenhouse is great for that. You just kind of stand back and start it, and we're going to sweep over and do 2 runs, let it sit for a second, and then do another 2. Just like that. Gonna let it soak in a little bit. Usually I'll have this whole thing lined out with trays, and by the time I work all the way across, I can come back up to the other side and start again. And that is all the more moisture they need to start them germinating. We'll go move them over into the germination area and get them set out, and I'll show you what's in there as well. Now, we used to have a specific germination chamber here on the farm that we used for starting all of our seeds, but I've actually found our old walk-in that we originally started the farm with actually works really, really great for this process. I've already got some tomatoes and peppers going in here that I did earlier today, but it's pretty simple. After we get them watered in, we bring them in and we set them up on the top of this rack, making sure to go all the way back into the back. Get this door shut because I've got the air conditioner coming on now. We get some funny light effects in here from the grow rack. Turn on the top light. But yeah, we just take one of our bottom flats, place it on the top. We can stack quite a few of these. The only downfall is stacking too many. It gets kind of hard to check in there and look at them, because as soon as these things break the surface, which is usually in 2 to 3 days, you want to take them out and get them underneath the lights immediately. Or during the summer when we're starting them in here, we take them out and immediately move them out to the field. So these are just a bunch of Brina LED lights. You can get them cheap on Amazon. Baker's rack. You need at least 5 per shelf, and you want to have them as close as possible so you can see actually how far up we are. I come in and water them every day or so when they need them. We just use like a 32-ounce cup for this. We find that works plenty. I'm running a dehumidifier in here. This thing's way too small, but we do also have little mini space heater down in the corner and window air conditioner up there. All ran off of an Inkbird heating cooling thermostat, but that's only running the heater right now. Just have the air conditioner set at, I believe it's about 75, 76 degrees. So we're currently sitting at 71 degrees in here, about 58% relative humidity, which is just about perfect for starting things and actually getting them going. This is my next project here, is getting these out in the field and ready to start planting. They're a little spindly, but I need to get them out and get them kind of hardened off. We'll keep them underneath covers for at least a week after they go out in the field, because they have not been out in natural light and they've been in a nice pampered environment. These down here are only about a week old and they're still just getting up there. So another 2 to 3 weeks and these would be ready to go to the field as well. So it's really honestly just as easy as that. You can do the same thing actually just in the window of your house. You don't need all this setup if you're doing a smaller amount of stuff. We just have this larger setup, which was originally a microgreen area that I've just kind of stopped doing microgreens and converted it over. There's the old fun chart on the wall and all my writing around me. Pretty cool. So I hope this really helps people get your initial startup and getting your plant started at the beginning of the year. We have to be very successful about this because of the amount we actually start on our farm. If you go to a nursery, even our local nursery where we get a discount, they're still about $1 a plant. So each of these trays is theoretically worth about $100 a piece. So that's why you have to be very careful and why we spend so much time and we put the upfront investment in having a system that really, really works for us in the farm. So, hope you all like what you saw here today. If you did, don't forget to comment, ask questions, go check out arkenbergfarms.com, Digital Tools and Training, Mark Garden Farm School, all kinds of cool stuff. Oh, and also Seed Time. Go check that out. There's a link down below in the show notes. Get your garden planting set up now, because now's the time, because before long, it's going to be time to really start rolling. So, as always, thank y'all. Have a good day.